Welcome to Chautauqua People. My name is John V. My guest today is Sam Jones. Sam is a long-term Chautauquan and an author. He has traveled around the world and has had a really solid academic background. Sam, how did you find your way to Chautauqua?
Well, my dad grew up in Jamestown, and of course we visited my grandparents, his parents, and my grandmother used to bring me over to Chautauqua on Sunday. And that's where I learned about the amphitheater. I thought that was the hugest thing I've ever seen, until I walked with my grandmother past the Athenaeum Hotel, and I couldn't believe how beautiful it was and how tall it was. And of course, I was just a little guy, so it impressed me. And the one memory I have, other than those two, is my grandmother took me into the amphitheater, and the organ started. I was so impressed with that because we were sitting on those old wood benches or pews, and I could feel the vibration of the music, and it stuck with me. And it was impressive.
So you came back regularly then?
Well, we raised two girls. The youngest one graduated from Ringling School of Art and Design. It's in Sarasota. And so Maggie and I had come here for a week, 2 weeks, loved it. And we said, well, we've got some extra money, so we decided to buy. So we bought a condo and have been here, and then we had to wait for Maggie to retire because she's a school teacher. So we waited, and then we became full-time residents.
That's
True
great.
snowbirds.
That's great.
Yeah.
And where do you winter?
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good life, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It's quite a drive, but
Yeah. Now tell me about your education as a school kid.
oh wow. Let's see, I was freshman in high school. The family moved to Lyon, France. My dad had a job running a machine tool plant. They made the grinders. So he was sent over to run that operation because the American company had just purchased the French company. So the whole family went, and we were the only Americans in Lyon, which was hard to get used to. Picture a young kid on the SS France going over to France, and he's never been there before, and all of a sudden he lands at Le Havre, and it's Bastille Day.
Oh dear.
Well, welcome to France. So, and then I went. My parents took me to my high school, and that's up in the Pine Line near Zurich, Switzerland. And so here's this young kid going up an Alp, and it was culture shock, quite frankly. So the first year was the toughest. But after I got used to the rhythm and a little bit of the language, I learned very quickly that the school was there to teach us. We had to learn how to learn. And that was really quite a gift. And then I had some wonderful experiences. Went to Rome and some other places. And I went to the University of Salzburg for a summer to improve my German. And I hooked up with some Scandinavian kids. And they had one rule: you only speak German.
For the summer then?
Yeah, and if we were out having fun or going to a restaurant, the whole conversation was in German, which is exactly, it was great for me. And in fact, the book, Think, Learn, and Enjoy, which is, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I wrote a story about that. And it basically is, I hooked up with this little Finnish girl, and I wrote her a letter and said, well, why don't you come down to Zug, Switzerland, and come to my graduation? And much to my dismay, she said, yeah, that would be great. That would be fun. Had to read the letter a couple times. Of course, it was in German. And then my dad called me, and he said, well, I got some good news and bad news. And I said, oh, damn, well, what's the bad news? He says, well, your mother can't come to your graduation. And I thought, oh no. I never told her about Lisa coming. But then my dad says, well, I'll be there. And I said, oh, okay. Whew. I ducked the bullet. So Lisa got there, my dad got there, they stayed in different hotels, and my dad said, well, yeah, I'd like to meet her. Why don't you have her over for dinner? So I went back to Lisa's hotel and got ready. Went back to my dad's hotel, and he was standing there. He's 6'5", 250 pounds. And my girlfriend was blonde hair, blue eyes, very Scandinavian. And remember, my dad's Swedish from Jamestown. So walks up, and I introduce Lisa to my dad, dad to Lisa, and Dad reaches out and shakes her hand, and she curtsies. Well,
Did that happen in Jamestown ever?
no. But have you ever seen a 6'5", 250 pound man melt?
Yeah.
It was amazing. So we get into the dining room, and I sit there, and Lisa, I'm the interpreter. So I'm telling Dad in English what Lisa said in German, and then what my dad said, and I'm the interpreter. I'm having a lot of fun because I can twist things around a little bit, make it sound a little better, or more fun, maybe embellish it a little bit. But anyway, so at the end of the meal, right before dessert was served, my dad, for some reason, looks at Lisa and starts speaking Swedish.
What did she think of that?
Well, I was flabbergasted when she was talking right back to him in Swedish. I learned the hard way that all Finns speak two languages,
Yeah.
Finnish and Swedish.
Yeah.
So my dad just, he was having a great time with this because he could see how uncomfortable I was. So he basically, he was having too much fun. And finally the dessert was over and we wanted to leave. So he leaned over to me and he says, where are you guys going? And I said, oh, we're going to catch a train and go into Zurich. And he says, oh no, here, drive. And he handed me the keys to the car.
Did you have a driver's license?
Yeah, French driver's license.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I'm going to stop there, if that's okay, because the book, the story in the book has a surprise ending, which happens in Chautauqua.
That's right. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the book for just a minute.
Sure.
And I'm going to hold this up, and we got a really great picture there from Devin. Tell us about preparing this text. How did this come about?
It evolved. Basically, I wanted to understand better the thing, like stuff like, hypocrisy, why people lie, all that kind of stuff. So I got into it. And this was, because we have a lot of really big decisions to make. And as I got into it, it just evolved. And I started with just looking at AI. And that was fun. And of course, in AI, you've got the LLM, which is large language model. And that's basically a portion of AI that runs like a computer does today. Then you've got the other segment of AI, which is the exciting part. This is the part that it learns, and it can do analysis very quick. And so it's very effective, but it's evolving. As time goes on, they're always working on it. They're always improving it. And the research itself was a lot of fun. And then I realized that I found out that AI's got two problems, at least.
Tell us about them.
Yeah, well, the first one is hallucinations. AI, and I hope they fixed this by now. This is 6 months ago. But a hallucination is when AI doesn't have, it gives you what you think is a source and some data. And when you check it, there is no source. And the data is not there. AI is making it up. And this thing is thinking about us? So you have to be really careful. Check your sources. And then the other one, and this is the good part of the yin and yang. The other thing that they're working on, they being the AI folks, is they have to update their database periodically. And to do that, they have to sift through all the misinformation, straight up propaganda, just wrong stuff. And they need to make sure that that's not in their program, because it will corrupt and it will destroy what you're using it for, the end product. So that was pretty exciting. So if you want, I can get into some of the other ones.
Let's do it.
You want to do that? Okay.
And I got to say now, right up front, what was your source for this?
My source? I'd have to look in the book.
It wasn't hallucination, was it?
It was an hallucination. Yeah, I dreamt it all up. Yeah, I thought you were referring to the story. I hope I said that fast enough. Anyway, the other one that it was easy. This one was really simple. It was search engines. I was trying to pick a search engine, and I was tired of Google. But Google does have its place. And I learned very quickly that search engines, no matter which one you pick, it's going to be biased, because humans create the search engine. So it's just natural that their bias is built into the search engine. So you have to, what I learned was you have to become comfortable with the search engine that you're using. But this can also be a positive thing, because you can use your search engine that you like, but to double check your results or how you did your analysis or your sources, you can go to a search engine that you know takes another approach.
Okay, let's say we start on Google.
Yeah.
What might be the name to some other ones you would recommend going to?
Well, there's Firefox, which is pretty good.
Okay.
There's DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo. Okay.
That's the one I like. And there's a whole list of them out there. And I listed some in the book, so if the reader is looking for a search engine, there's a list of them they can go to. So, yeah, there's a lot of them. But then that led to trying to understand the hypocrisy and why people lie. And why people lie is this is going to get a little bit in the woods. First off, let's pick on Saul Alinsky, and he is the fellow that wrote Rules for the Radical. And it was very popular back in the 60s and 70s, especially at the university level. A matter of fact, just a side note, Saul Alinsky, his dedication of the book, he dedicated the book to the devil.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, a good lead into this book. And as you go through the book, you will find places where he actually comes out and says that it's okay to lie if your lie furthers your cause. And then there's a condition on that your lie doesn't cost the cause too much. So he did try to calm people down a little bit with the cost, but he still said it was okay. Now, a picture, you have a bunch of school kids or college kids, and they're reading this and they're going, oh, good, it's okay. And then they also then, if they're inquisitive folks, which they usually are, they look at China. And although this is, let me explain a little bit about this. I got a hold of a book, and it's called, and I don't speak Chinese or Mandarin, but it's Unrestricted Warfare. And it's written by two high-level Chinese military folks. And it is all about the Chinese approach to warfare. Now remember, the Chinese have a very long-term look at things, not like us, like 5 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
So, and that is basically, they will do anything to win. And when they say unrestricted, they mean unrestricted. They will recently, if you've watched the news, some Chinese people coming, students I believe, coming into America, they had in their shoes a germ that would attack our agricultural industry. So this is part of it, and it goes on and on and on and on. The balloons, spy balloons, that's another part of it. And of course, as you're in there, lying is a thing that you do. And the same is true. There's an article, and I don't remember the source off the top of my head, but it's Islam. And basically, it says that if you tell a lie to a Gentile, then if that lie furthers Islam, it's okay. And finally, of course, we all know what the Bible says about that. All right. Do I have any more time?
You're good.
Keep going?
Keep on trucking.
Okay, because this is the good one.
Go for it.
All right. The half-truths. And that's it. You think it's really easy. It's not. Because you can get somebody on TV tells you something, and it sounds really good, and you want to believe it, but they don't tell you the other side, or the other half. For example, we had the big thing about, I'm going to do it anyway. We might have some people out there that won't like this, but it's in the book anyway. So if you, a good example of it is the salt that was in this latest legislation. And it was very easy for the person who wanted to increase the level of salt, and he took all the positive things about it. I mean, how great it is and all that. But nowhere did he present the other side of the story, which is, how much is that going to cost us? How much money is not going to flow into the government coffers, which means, does that then mean that we're going to have taxes somewhere else? And you can go on and on like that because he didn't present the other side. And that is extremely frustrating. Yeah. And the one way, there's a couple of ways to protect yourself. One way is cross-reference. Take his topic and go out and just Google it. Or use AI if you want. doesn't matter, and see what other people are saying about it. Then that way you can let somebody else do the homework.
You bet.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, then you're going to have to go start doing the research yourself and ask your own questions.
How would you do the search to confirm something?
About half-truths?
That's correct.
Well, the first one is you got the issue, whatever the issue is. And you ask, let's pick on AI. You ask in your prompt, you ask AI, I know that this is what's been said, but what is the negative? Okay, now using AI, we're back into AI a little bit, but using AI, then you're going to have to sit there and look at what AI tells you, and you're going to probably have to refine that. But through that exercise, you will get the kernel, that one nugget,
You bet.
and then another nugget, and then as you write prompt after prompt after prompt. So that's probably the easiest way to do it. Or just go to Google and say, what's the opposite? And let's see what you come up with. Pretty simple.
Now, you had a search recommendation in there that you would take an extension, and not the final part, but somewhere after the add part, and put that into a search engine and see what happens. What was the logic of that?
You search it.
So if you want to search a source, you take part of their name, part of that domain, and search it.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Everybody's getting all this scam emails. The easiest way to check if the email is perhaps valid is open up your email, then on the top you will see the sender from, and there'll be the email address there. If it's a long list of letters, numbers, or it has like on the end .eu or something like that, it's probably scam. Okay, because the company, if it was real, would have the company's name on that address.
Yeah.
So it's a way of protecting yourself and not falling for the scams. So
How would you track let's step a little bit off, if you get something on a text that's the message and you wonder if it's fraudulent?
oh wow. Well, the first thing I do is look and see the source. Okay. And a lot of emails you get, there is no source. So the one thing you can do is take what is said and put it into, again, a search engine, and see what comes up. You will be surprised. There'll be a whole list of where that is used or was used, and it will be absolutely identical
Yeah.
in the letters. So you can pick the one or two that fits the context of the email, and there you got it.
I got a horrific text yesterday.
It wasn't from me.
You know, we've had some very pleasant exchanges. And I looked at it and said, what am I going to do now? Well, then I look at the country code where this came from. And it was a plus sign, and I didn't recognize it, so I Googled country code of this thing. And I came back and said that country code sends out a very large number of frauds, spam.
Yeah.
So that worked for me.
Yeah, but the folks that are doing this understand what we're doing to catch them, And now they're coming up, which is not in the book, but now they're coming up with different ways of doing it. And I got one today. It was from the state of Maryland, whatever it is. You go through the toll gate, and it takes a picture, and it sends you a bill, and it says, well, we haven't received your money yet, and you have to hit this link to go and set up paying and all that. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, I wasn't in Maryland at that date. So it's got to be something that is a scam. But it was done very well. I mean, even the URL, the address, looked very professional. So these guys are getting better.
This thing said to me, I have an unpaid traffic ticket in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And if I don't pay within 1 day, they're going to take my license away and do all sorts of things.
Right, yeah.
And I was shocked when I got it. And I said, oh, wait a minute, I'll put Sam onto this one.
Yeah.
See what he has to say. Okay, we've got about 1 minute left.
Okay.
So tell me what else, and I got one more question for you.
Okay.
What other insights do you want to share from your scholarship that's contained in the book? And then we'll finish talking about how one obtains a copy of the book.
Okay, well, probably to answer the first question, the research, the more research you do, the easier it is. And the easier it is, the deeper you will go with your research. So to start off with, it's a great starter, and middle, and just use the tricks and be prepared. But just don't give up. Just keep at it. And soon you'll be doing it probably quicker than you and me.
And you've got lots of tools in there,
Yeah.
some suggestions as to how to do it.
Right, exactly. And I also tried to make it so that a lot of footnotes, because I wanted it to be a reference as well as just looking at the sources. But being a reference guide is important. And as you get into this, you'll have more references. And so hopefully you have more references.
Okay,
Okay.
here's the big one. Somebody wants to know what the story was, the rest of the story with that girlfriend from Finland chatting away with your dad in Swedish, left you beside a kid who grew up in a Swedish area and didn't speak Swedish. How does one obtain a copy of the book so some romantic can get the rest of the story?
Oh, here, I thought you were going to pump me to get to the ending.
No.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We got to buy the book. And then they got some more good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, it's on Amazon.
Okay.
And all they have to do is get on Amazon and type in the Think, Learn, and Enjoy. And if that doesn't bring it up, just put in the author's name with Sam Jones, and it should get to the website or the page, and everything's there. Typical Amazon.
So it's easy to do then, isn't it?
Oh, it's simple.
And it's an easy read. I read the entirety of it.
Good.
Make a habit of reading every book before we bring an author on.
Okay. Good.
So I recommend it.
Oh, thank you.
And Sam, we are out of time,
Okay.
and I hope you'll come back the next time you do a book, and let's have a few good laughs.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I'll probably be doing a series.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
You bet. See
I
you now.
enjoyed it.